For this one, we're going to do something called facets. And this, I think a lot of people like because they draw it regularly. So you're going to take your paper and fold it in half. And again, I'm using just a regular sheet of paper. That's about the size of my hand. You can use a copy piece of paper that's folded. You can use a note card, your choice. But I've taken it, I've folded it in half, and I've unfolded, I folded that corner there, and I folded that corner there. Then I'm going to take this edge and fold it in half again. The reason that we're folding our paper is just so we can divide it out evenly, now this edge to the middle, without doing the measuring, because this is our practice. This is going to give you the idea of what the optical illusion looks like, because if we were doing this on our final, of course we would be measuring everything out. Now I'm going to take my ruler and my pencil so that y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm going to use my Sharpie and I'm going to draw those folds. Again, you can hand draw this. You do not have to have that straight edge. I just want for you to be able to see it a little bit better, because remember, so much of optical illusions is that math and measuring and making sure that everything repeats that pattern and is that same size. So this is what I have now. I have like a checkerboard. Okay. Now I am going to take and one edge from this corner to this corner, and I'm going to use these kinds of diagonals, these points, as my guide, because you want it to go through that corner like that. Okay, I hope you can see that. So I'm just doing it on that one side. Then I'm going to switch from here to here. I'm going to go from that edge to that edge through that middle. Again, you can just hand draw this. So I get that line there. And then I'm going to do the same thing here in the middle. Like this. And then there. Okay. And it looks like I forgot to do these two edges, because you should have 3 diagonal lines. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to connect this one here to here. Remember, this is the hardest part of getting that in. And it's why folding the paper instead of measuring it out makes it so much easier. So this is what it should look like for the facets. Okay? So you have like this diamond kind of shape on the center, and then the triangles on the outside. And so I'm going to start with this one. And I'm going to look at this here as one large diamond shape, right? So these four triangles right here. And this is what I will do. You can use a ruler for this, but so that you can see it better on mine, I'm going to hand draw it just so you can see it. I'm going to follow that path. So I'm going to come here and draw a line there, and then here, and then here. Oops, missed one. And I keep drawing out so that it gets closer and closer to that edge there. You see? Then here, I'm going to connect that line to that point. So I'm going to go here and here. And this is getting you that facet, kind of like a diamond. Okay. See how that's working? Now I'm going to do this side. I'm going to go from here to here, and I'm going to follow that edge. Trying to keep it the same kind of angle, following that path here. And I'm going to connect these lines to there. Again, this is where measuring on your final would really, really help. But this is practice. So there's my first one. Now I'm going to move to this one because this is the whole and this is my half. I hope you're still with me. So I'm going to measure this. See how this is my point? So starting at that point, that's my convergence point. And again, you can draw this with a ruler. Okay. And then I'm going to go from here down to my point, which is right there. It's like 1 point perspective. It's all going to that vanishing point. Okay. And then of course there would be another line right here on the edge. Now, see how this row is starting to form? Since this is where they converge here, on this one it would be where they converge. So I'm going to do the same thing. I know this sounds odd, but try not to overthink this. If you try to overthink it, it will make it harder than it is. So that goes to my point. Now I'm going to go from here to that point there. Now remember, I am hand drawing this, but you can use a ruler or your straight edge. And there, you can see I've started my facets. Now I'm going to start with the next row here. And these will now meet at this point. So, because it's going to be your opposite. Do the same technique. Remember, it's best if you think of it like each diamond, like this. And then now these are going to converge there. I'm going to add another line there so it can... The closer your lines get, the more it's going to be that kind of movement. That's going to show that movement. You could do this on a ballpoint pen too. And if you try to look at the whole thing, it gets a little confusing, which is why I look at it in one section at a time. So now I'm going to go to this section. So it's going to converge up here. Because see, it converges here, so it's the opposite. This might be one of the more difficult ones to draw, but it's one of the coolest. And then these are going to converge down here. Making sure that those lines, you know, you're matching those lines up. Okay, so now I have that. So now I'm going to come here. Since this converges here, that's going to converge there. So, because it's your opposites. And then that's going to converge there. Because you look at it in like sets or groups. It's almost like one of the first ones we did with the zigzag. And I'm going to come here. This converges here. And come here. Where it was the diagonals like on the zigzag. Okay. Now, let's do this one. These are going to converge here. So, okay. And now they're going to meet here. So from these lines to here. Again, drawing this with a ruler makes it really pop. Now, these are going to converge here and then go down. I'm trying to keep them about the same distance apart when I draw them. And now these, okay, they're going to come the opposite way, so they'll converge there and there. Again, this is when it's really helpful to make sure you're looking at each section at a time. Otherwise, you might, if you're trying to look at the whole thing, it might start to get a little confusing for you. Okay, and now I'm going to do this one up here. Since they converge here, they're going to converge there and go out. And the same thing here. Okay, and then the same thing here with our last one. Since it converges there, it's going to converge there and go out. On this one is called the facets.